Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Nerds of the North podcast, episode number 39. 39 episodes in the books. We're here to talk about more nerdy television and video game stuff. So, as always, I'm host number one, Matt. And joining me today, as always, is host number two,
Nick.
And today we're going to be talking about the finale for Peacemaker. That show came to its wildly awesome conclusion, I would say. Spoilers, I liked it. But we'll kind of talk about our weeks a little bit, talk about Peacemaker. It's going to be a relatively short episode, hopefully. And then we'll probably talk a little bit about things we've been watching or playing or whatever in our own lives off of the podcast. So Peacemaker, that happened. The whole show's out now. We got the finale out. Nick, what did you think of the finale? And what did you think of the show as a whole?
I thought the finale was really fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There's lots of violence, lots of fighting, lots of really strange, weird things happen. We had some character growth for Peacemaker, I think, when he chose his friends over saving the world. Anyway, yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I thought there were some really amusing moments in it. The one that's standing out to me right now is when the guy with the Economos or something like that, his beard, they called him out for his beard and he had to admit that he had been dyeing it. I thought that was amusing. I'm glad no one really died in it. And then of course there was that big cameo, but maybe I'll save my thoughts on that until the end, so then you can say what your thoughts are. I will say I enjoyed it. This actually may have been my favorite. I think I may have enjoyed this show, I won't say on the same level as WandaVision, because WandaVision was so much fun to watch and theorize about. But
sure,
as far as like DC Marvel TV shows, I really enjoyed this one. And if this had been a Marvel TV show, not that this ever would be, but because of the cussing and violence and the nudity, but I would definitely rank it in the top Marvel shows for sure, maybe even the top. So,
oh yeah, no, like I think this is the way I've been thinking about it, since like I end up comparing shows that we're watching kind of concurrently, right? Things that are happening at the same time and occupying a lot of the same space, in terms of especially the platforms that they're available on. But in particular, Book of Boba Fett and Peacemaker, right? Like they've been happening at the same time, and like with Book of Boba Fett, my expectations started here and then just kind of worked their way down. Like the show wasn't necessarily bad, but it wasn't something that was really driving my interest. We had a couple of Mandalorian episodes, and then the show kind of just ended, and it didn't feel super satisfying, I guess. Whereas with Peacemaker, my expectations started so low, and it just has like rocketed in terms of the quality and how much I like the characters. Like I just really feel like the finale did a really good job of putting a nice bow on this story. And I don't know, yeah, I'm really looking forward to more. Like I hope we get more James Gunn directed series, whether it be Peacemaker again or other characters that get involved.
Have you not heard the news?
Is there a season 2?
Yes, they announced it. Yeah, and James Gunn's gonna, I think, be writing and directing all the episodes. So
yes, okay, I love that. Yeah, because I mean, clearly, like James Gunn has shown that he's very capable of. He does a great job with these weird, like, groups of friends that are family stories. Obviously, I mean, like Guardians of the Galaxy is where he really like kind of bolstered that reputation, but Peacemaker allowed him to do that with also having a lot more freedom in terms of like gore and swearing and just like to be fair, like it's Disney, so I know there's limitations there, but like if you watched like a giant intergalactic monster show up, you wouldn't be like, oh dang, that's going to be hard to fight. You'd be like, what the fuck is that? Like you wouldn't be mincing words on it. So getting to watch a show where they really just kind of hash out like how I feel like normal people would be in that situation. I just really like that.
There's a theory that Marvel and Disney might be changing course a little bit on that, on their no blood and cussing thing. I just have a feeling Daredevil and the Defenders are going to end up on Disney Plus, and that's going to be the opening the door to maybe different kinds of stories being told in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's just a theory I have. I have nothing backing that up. That's just a completely my thought, but I don't know. So that's my thing.
Well, I mean, like I had my theory for this show in particular that like I guess we can kind of get in a little bit to the what you were talking about with the cameo at the end of this. My theory that I had, and I think I spoke about this in the last episode, was that the Justice League was going to 100% show up for this moment. And the way I envisioned it did not happen, but they definitely did show up in person. And
it definitely popped into my head when it happened. I'm like, oh, Matt kind of sort of predicted this.
Yeah, like it really did feel like it seemed like an appropriate way for the show to end, because I think for sure, well, I don't know, with Adebayo and like making her big announcement on television about the Suicide Squad, like, you know, more or less outing this group being a thing. I think my original thought was that the Justice League was going to show up and they were going to take credit for everything. But I guess to be fair, like Adebayo like really did like kind of blow the lid off of the whole group. So I guess that's not really possible in this context. But
yeah, the other thing too that James Gunn basically said, because they were asking him questions. It was an interview, I think, with no, I don't know. I can't remember who the interview was with. But he said the other show that they were going to make for another character from the Suicide Squad is also pretty far into like talks. So
interesting.
Okay. Out there. Yeah.
I wonder.
He also said that once he's done directing Guardians Volume 3, he's going to spend like a year after that only directing television shows.
Oh wow! Interesting.
Yeah, it seems like he really had a great experience making the show, and so did John Cena. And going into the show, they weren't even sure they would want to do a season 2, but just to see how the show would feel when they were making it. And it seems like both of them just really loved it. So they really want to come back for season 2. And then it was greenlit, so we're getting season 2.
See, like, I mean, I really love that. Like, I'm glad that we're going to be getting more of this, because I don't know. I mean, we'll see how the new Batman movie does. Like, I think that'll be a big, that will kind of set the tone for like how future DC films are handled, and how like who they choose to direct. Because I mean, clearly we've gotten a lot of kind of duds from DC in terms of films. I mean, to say what you will about Zack Snyder's, you know, more recently released Justice League movie, the movie was still not good. It was not a great movie by any stretch. It was much better than what was released to us in the theatrical cut, but still not a very good movie. And so hopefully this new Batman film either sets a new bar, but I am kind of wondering if DC is just going to need to lean in harder into these TV shows. Like,
well, they did drop that sort of trailer for the movies coming out this year, that because they have kind of a big year ahead of them for 2022. They have Batman coming out. Then they have why can't they definitely have
because they have like the big one is the Flash film.
The Flash. Right? They have Aquaman 2, and there's a fourth one that I'm drawing a Black Adam. They released a lot of footage from that Black Adam, the Rock vehicle.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, maybe that movie is going to be super cool. Maybe. I have kind of a hard time believing that's going to be super cool. Don't get me wrong. I like The Rock. I I don't think he's what I would call like a phenomenal actor by any stretch.
You know my feelings about Dwayne.
Yeah, he's just a very generic action hero, and that's okay. Um, and maybe Black Adam is the movie that like really blows up and gives us like a proper taste of like what The Rock can do in terms of his acting chops, and maybe there's a movie I'm not aware of that he's in that like he really blows people away with how
His acting
is really on point.
I think so. I don't know. He always kind of plays the same role.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be like maybe one of the Fast and Furious movies, maybe where he gives a really stunning performance. But like,
I'm not even sure. I don't know. I was just gonna say I don't know. Like if you would cast, let's say, The Rock and John Cena's role as Peacemaker, I'm not sure The Rock could have pulled it off. But
yeah, like John Cena just did such a phenomenal job of that role. I just was so surprised. I was really pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm. I guess for my comment for that cameo that where we received Ezra Miller's, I think that's his name, right, as the Flash and Aquaman. What's his name? Do you know?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I loved that Jason Momoa just dropped an F-bomb, and I'm trying to think how that would never happen in the Marvel universe, where one of the premier heroes shows up and just like, fuck you.
Yeah,
this would never happen.
I would love Tony Stark to just show up on screen and go like, what's up, motherfuckers? And just
but I guess the Peacemaker finale, according to John Cena, had the biggest single day performance for a Max original series and was up 44% over the premiere episode. And he said, that is a fuckload, peace sign, and that does not happen without all of you. Truly grateful. Ready for season 2.
Yeah, like I mean, John Cena really does seem to like kind of have a good head on his shoulders and like keep it on the level.
I don't know.
In terms of
controversy about him in China, which I'm not going to comment on because I don't really know it
too well. Yeah, that's yeah, totally. Like I don't know enough about the situation. I do know that he plays a really good Peacemaker in a TV show about Peacemaker. That's all I seem to really need to know right now, at least in terms of the scope of this podcast.
Overall, I like the show a lot. I think it had a really cool vibe. I dug like the 80s rock vibe. I dug the humor. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was gonna like it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really liked Suicide Squad too. That came out earlier this year. I thought that was really good. Well, I guess 2021 now, but I thought that was really good as well. And I liked the vibe of that one. So I think James Gunn is getting better and better as he goes on, honestly. And I'm excited for his volume 3 of Guardians, and I'm excited to see where he goes next. So.
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm really excited for more. I have really been enjoying a lot of the DC HBO Max content that's been coming out. Peacemaker is a really good example. Harley Quinn show is another good example of that.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of that and I just kind of stopped. I don't know. I just don't know if it was for me.
I think that like that show is just kind of fun and lighthearted. Like it does have a lot of serious stuff that happens that I think could have cool implications if it were to be integrated into the live action stuff. I don't know, who knows? Maybe if we don't know who the character is in question for the new like Suicide Squad character, it could very well be Harley Quinn. I mean,
oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. For some reason I still think it's Ratcatcher 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would like Ratcatcher 2, but I think the big names they would actually choose would be Bloodsport or Harley Quinn.
Well, I mean, you would think that though, right? But then they gave Peacemaker his own show, and I was kind of skeptical of that when I first heard that, and look how that turned out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was really pleasantly surprised with the quality of the show. The characters were just so relatable and yeah, just so good. Yeah. Just
James Gunn tweeted, this was last Thursday when the show or the finale premiered. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all for joining us tonight and this whole season. I love this show and this creative team as much as anything I've ever done, and love you all too. Peace out, motherfuckers, until season 2.
Awesome. Love that. Yeah, no, I mean, clearly it's James Gunn. Like, he's very talented as a director, and he's clearly shown that he can direct a hell of a fucking TV show too. Oop, let the camera come back into focus. But yeah, no. Let's see. I guess we're doing this a little bit out of order, but I was going to ask you, Nick, how the hell are you? How'd your week go? What have you been enjoying, and what have you been watching?
Yeah, this week I've actually had some more free time, especially the last few days. So I've been catching up on a few shows. Watched the first 3 episodes of this season of South Park, which have been really, I'll say they're pretty good. Like, it's kind of refreshing. Getting caught up on the season 5 of Rick and Morty, which I hadn't seen before, which I gotta say, like, the show's still good, but I don't know. I feel like it isn't the same for me. It just doesn't feel the same. And
Sure.
I just don't know what it is with that show. Like, I almost feel like it's like phoning it, or not phoning it in. It just kind of feels like it's trying to capture something that's no longer there. And even the way Rick acts, it's almost like he's kind of like tired of being on the show. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I've been watching season 5 as well. I don't know how far you've gotten into the show or how many
Just
episodes in you
finished,
are.
I think, episode 7 last night.
Okay, so you might be a little further along than I am. But go on, you had further thoughts?
Smiling Friends, I watched on HBO Max. Excellent. Would really recommend that one. That one's so dark and hilarious. It's only, I think, 8 episodes long. The episodes are only like 12 minutes, so I watched it all in a single day. It was really good.
Wow.
And Euphoria, obviously, Righteous Gemstones, and Peacemaker are the shows I've been watching. And I guess I caught, I think, the first 3 or 4 episodes of Cuphead, which I don't know if I'm going to continue watching that one. It's kind of a background show because it's the animation and the style of it are really cool, but
yes,
it's not that funny. It's kind of like, oh, huh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like the game upon which Cuphead is based on, of the same name, Cuphead. Like, it has a unique animation style, and it's something that drew me to it initially. I have not been able to beat Cuphead yet. I haven't really sit down and spent the time on it, but because it is a fairly hard game to play. But yeah, as soon as I saw that there was a show about it, it was like, oh, this seems like to really be focusing on the like how the show looks, the visuals. I just don't know how it would pan out in terms of an actual like narrative.
I think it's really a cool idea. I really do, because I actually think that animation style is really creepy and strange, which I dig. I like the creepiness factor of it,
sure,
which makes me want to love it a lot. But at the same time, it feels like it's kind of missing something at the moment, and maybe they just need to kind of gain their footing first. It's hard to judge. It's kind of hard to judge a show right off the bat. Like, some shows just come out swinging, but other shows takes a little while to kind of get really interesting. So that might be one of them.
But I do agree with you though on season 5 of Rick and Morty. Like, it kind of feels like they're leaning really hard into the just absolute absurdity of the show now, in a way that, like, it kind of felt like the absurdity kind of just happened. It was like more of just like an organic absurdity that took place, whereas now I feel like they're really leaning into it really hard. So it doesn't feel as organic. It feels really like it's very purposeful, just how ridiculous things are getting in the show.
It's just the vibe. It feels like maybe the showrunners or the people that make it aren't as passionate about it as they were or something. I can't quite place it, but even Rick, like I was saying, in the show kind of feels sort of like he doesn't want to be there. Yeah, kind of doesn't have a soul anymore or something. But
yeah, he's I don't know, like, the original premise of the show is really cool, and I feel like they've done a good job of like really hashing out the characters and their different strengths and weaknesses and their relationships with one another. But that being said, I feel like all of that has been so hashed out to the point now where I don't know what else the show has to say about the Smith family and Rick in general. Like the show's still fun to watch, but I do wonder, like, I feel like the show ends when Rick is just gone, you know, and and I don't know if fans would be very appreciative of that kind of ending. I don't know.
Well, the Smiling Friend show, which is an Adult Swim show, which is owned by Warner Brothers, so that's why it's on HBO Max.
Sure.
For me, it's not like the same. It doesn't have like that sort of sci-fi chaotic energy that Rick and Morty has, but it does almost have that still sort of crazy, chaotic, like creative vibe that early Rick and Morty had. So for that alone, I would recommend watching that show. So.
So, Smiling Friends. I know I've been watching Vox Machina on Amazon. That's been really excellent. Anyone who's familiar with Critical Role, the YouTube channel, I'm only aware of them because I have a close friend who is a huge D&D fan, and he watches Critical Role very, very regularly. I'm pretty sure he and his wife are actually probably part of their Patreon at this point. But yeah, like the show is based off of their campaigns that they play in a world that they created, and so it's really very interesting. I feel like it's pretty new and fresh. Fantasy setting is really fun, and it's one of those shows that really, it feels a lot like Invincible season 1 through Amazon as well. The animation quality is really good, and it's not afraid to pull punches in terms of like who lives, who dies, swearing, sex, just like all of that is, it's stuff that isn't or that doesn't need to be shied away from just because it's an animated show, which I'm a big fan of.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I was just looking at this to get some conversation topics, and there's actually some pretty interesting stuff that's happened over the previous week, and maybe we just riff on this a little bit and then call it a day.
Sure. Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't know if you've heard about the controversy with Comixology owned by Amazon.
No.
How Comixology has basically been it's dissolved and moved over to the Amazon world ecosystem, and so some people are really quite angry about it because apparently it doesn't have the same functionality that Comixology had. So this is Pat Oswald just commenting on that. I don't know. I've never used Comixology. I've seen some of the anger about that and how a lot of people are saying they're not going to use it anymore, and it's hurting more underground sort of comics that aren't showing up like they did on Comixology. So, but
really interesting. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I guess somebody asked. These are just some leakers. I don't know if you want to go into this. I don't know if you want to know about the leaks that have come out of the new Doctor Strange. I don't know if we talked about that trailer or not. I guess we wouldn't have because the Super Bowl was last weekend. But
yeah, I mean the trailer itself is really cool. I'm really excited for that movie.
It also confirmed a lot of the leaks that were coming out. So
yeah, like
Charles Xavier being in the movie.
So, right, which is a huge deal, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm tremendously excited for that movie, and I think everyone who's a fan of the Marvel or the Marvel Cinematic Universe is excited about this movie.
The thing I'm most excited about is for Wanda to be the main villain. I think that's awesome, and I love that idea, and it makes her character so much more interesting.
Right.
Throughout the show, like throughout the series, like the series, throughout the movies. I just think it's really cool, and I'm excited for that. I think it could be really sweet, and also that Sam Raimi's doing it. That's just so sweet, so cool.
Which is really cool, yeah. Like, I mean, like obviously Sam Raimi has shown his chops as a good director as well, at least with the superhero films I've seen of his. I can't say I'm familiar with his films outside of that scope. But
yeah, I mean, Evil Dead 3 is amazing and it's hilarious. I mean, Evil Dead 2, though it's good, it's not really my jam. This one of the leakers is saying Michael B. Jordan's going to be back as Killmonger coming up in the Marvel Universe. That would be interesting. I'm guessing from a parallel reality or part of the multiverse.
Yeah, I think that seems like a possibility.
I guess it seems Brie Larson has wrapped up filming The Marvels, so that's a sequel to Captain Marvel too.
Super cool. Excited for that.
There's James Gunn talking about this is Ryan Reynolds denying that he's going to be in. This is laughing. Sorry, that he's going to be in the new Doctor Strange movie, and it's kind of just judging by his face, it's kind of hard to tell. Did you see Patrick Stewart's comment?
Yeah, his response to that.
It's just so funny. I kind of want to comment on that real fast because it's just really funny.
Yeah, because I just remember seeing that, or yeah, I saw that this morning. I was just thinking, like, that is such a like roundabout way of saying maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Since Patrick Stewart basically was, because we saw the back of someone's bald head in the Doctor Strange 2 trailer, sounding very, very much like Patrick Stewart, I believe, saying something like, "We need to tell him the truth" or something like that.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, when asked about whether he was in that trailer or not, he said, people have been imitating my voice ever since I came on the stage 60 years ago. So I can't be held responsible for that. As far as people thinking he was in that trailer, it's just so ridiculous. That
it's so silly. Like it's a non-answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think a lot of, I won't say a lot, but there have definitely been actors who have come out and talked about. Like was it Charlie Day that talked about how like working with Disney on these shows like it's just like they got a gun to your head, something like that. Like
I don't know if it was Charlie Day. I don't know if he's been in any Disney.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like it was some actor, and I thought it was Charlie Day. Maybe.
I want Charlie Day to be a Marvel superhero now. That would be amazing. Amazing. Oh man, that is like my dream world right now. That'd be so awesome to see Charlie Day as a superhero. I have heard Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis on It's Always Sunny, has been eyed for Mr. Fantastic. And I don't know if I like that or not. But I know.
I mean, if you give the actor the salt and pepper hair, I'm sure it'll turn out just fine.
I think Glenn Howerton was actually in the running to be a Peter Quill originally too, but obviously.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could kind of see it for sure. I mean, you never know. Like, you probably never would have originally pegged like Kamal Nanjiani to be a Marvel superhero, but give him a year in the gym and
or someone like Paul Rudd, so.
Yeah, right. Like, so you give them enough muscle on their person, and all of a sudden they're perfect for a role. But
Charlie Kelly as Wolverine, can you imagine?
Charlie Kelly, oh my god.
Oh, that'd be so funny and amazing. But I don't want that. But just the thought of it is just amazing.
God, I just can't.
James McAvoy, is he going to be in Doctor Strange 2? According to this leak, and he played young Charles Xavier.
Yes.
And according to this leaker, they say no. So he won't be in it, according to this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it would make sense for James McAvoy to show up at some point. Like, I love Patrick Stewart and I love him as Professor X.
He's old now.
The thing, yeah, is that he's old. He's just old. There's no way around it. And like both he and the gentleman who played Magneto. Ian McKellen.
Mm-hmm.
Like both of them are fantastic choices for those characters. They did a great job with them back in the day.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is they're old, and like these action movies are pretty intense, and so I don't know.
And this leaker actually, just to build off that, they say Magneto's going to be in the movie. Whether or not who he'll be played by, it doesn't say. But it says Professor X will be in there, played by Patrick Stewart. Captain Carter, by Haley Atwell, whatever her name is, because you can actually see in the poster for Doctor Strange 2, the new one they released, they have her shield in the background there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Lashana Lynch as Captain Marvel, and she's the one that was Monica Rambeau's mother, who was the head of Sword. Is that right?
Sword, yeah.
They say John Krasinski will be playing Mr. Fantastic. Anson Mount, who played Black Bolt for that terrible Marvel TV show, they say he'll be back as Black Bolt. Clea will be played by Charlize Theron, which is not what I heard. I thought she was going to be played by Doctor Strange's girlfriend from the first movie, which I'm drawing a blank on. And Balder the Brave, I'm not quite sure who that is.
Balder the Brave. Yeah, there's a lot of names there I'm not recognizing.
You'll like this too, Matt, because we were commenting about that Kirby game.
That Kirby thing.
And I was just looking at some of these shows that people have done.
I mean, these memes are fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Jesus Christ. People love the Kirby cars, man.
Yeah. Here's the SpiderMan in their you know the word, right? I can't think of the word. They're you know, the people that do their stuntsmen.
Oh, stuntmen.
Yeah, all of them lined up there. So we got Toby and Tom and Andrew Garfield's and their stuntmen there too. And also the rumor that Tony Stark's going to be played by Tom Cruise.
I mean, that would just be a really funny throwback to, like, you know, some of the original casting ideas.
Yeah. Grace Randolph is saying that he won't play Tony Stark, but someone else perhaps. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I would really love to see Tony again, but if we do see him again, he's probably going to be some kind of, you know, villain, or at least roughly, potentially. So I don't know. Like, I'm excited for all of this, but
yeah,
there's a lot of leaks and spoilers, and I know that I try and stay away from that mostly.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Oh no, I mean, like, a lot of this is stuff I've already like heard.
Yeah, well, because I was gonna say too, because I already commented on Ryan Reynolds back as Deadpool, so that poster they released, many people are claiming that Deadpool is actually one of the shards of glass. I don't know if I see it 100%, but this is what they're saying right there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, maybe, but like, yeah, people are just so excited for this stuff. They just desperately want to.
I know you got to get going, but another topic would be that Lord of the Rings trailer for Amazon. I'd love to have a discussion about that.
Yeah, we'll have to probably discuss that next time, because I know that, yeah, I do got to get going. But I do want to talk a little bit about that Lord of the Rings show. Maybe that's something we can discuss as the episodes come out, because I am really excited for that show. I just really hope it's good, because they have some big shoes to fill in terms of that show being good. Like, that trilogy of films for the Lord of the Rings was just so good, and to ruin that legacy with a shitty TV show would just bum me out. I mean,
we already have The Hobbit, right? So can that really ruin it? I don't know. So
The Hobbit was just so bad. All those movies are not good at all.
One of the other things, I guess, one of the leakers who, I just want to say this before we leave, the Batman, somebody saw it and they said it was really boring. So I'm kind of worried about that film now. So
see, I don't know. When people say that a movie's boring, I feel like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways for that to be misinterpreted. You know, someone who's watching it who had certain expectations of like an action-packed movie, you know, it could still be really interesting. I like the detective angle that we're hopefully going to be getting more from this Batman. So, but we can only hope.
All right, man. I know you got to get going.
Yeah. With that being said, I got to go pick up some doggos. So thank you all for joining us today in this rather short episode of Nerds of the North. Episode 39. How exciting. Yeah, Nick was saying maybe we'll try and do something kind of exciting for episode 40. Maybe we'll do something more exciting for episode 50. I don't know.
The all, like we keep talking about, the all nude episode.
Yeah, you know, that's been such a hot topic of conversation behind the scenes of the Nerds of the North. But no, thank you all for joining us today. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Yep. And next week I'll be reporting from a whole new location. So
we'll be so exciting. Bye.